Good afternoon to all our panelists and everyone that is joining slowly from their homes. My name is Nave Shachar. I am the Middle East Director at Startup Nation Central. And over the next hour, we will be exploring the latest opportunities and development in crypto and Web3, with a particular focus on the dynamics in the region. We will discuss the synergies, what to expect, and practical tips and guidance to help us succeed in our businesses. A little bit about Startup Nation Central. To those who are not familiar, Startup Nation Central is an NGO, nonprofit, non-revenue organization, fully funded by philanthropy, with the main purpose to connect the Israeli innovation ecosystem to global opportunities. Traditionally, the main work is to work with multinationals and global investors and hand-holding them in the process to really integrate with the ecosystem, not just introducing the tech, but really finding the ways or the platforms to engage. We added, since the Abraham Accord, the new pillar of activity, which we call innovation diplomacy, and there we see the ecosystem not just as a goal, but also as an asset to create partnerships and collaboration based on innovation and technology from a business perspective. Before we dive to our discussion with the panelists, I'd like to express my gratitude to the Israeli consulate in Dubai for co-organizing the webinar with us. Special thanks to Liron, the General Counsel in Dubai, as well as Dana and Tzvi. And I invite Liron to say a few words for the beginning.
Thanks, Nave, and very happy to be here and to see this actually happening. So thank you everyone for joining us today for this exciting webinar about the opportunities for Israel's Web3 sector in Dubai. As the Consul General of Israel in Dubai, I'm delighted to see our nation's collaborations growing stronger, particularly in such a transformative and innovative field such as Web3. Especially in difficult times like these, it's important that we look ahead and build these ties for the future. The Web3 revolution, with its promise to decentralize applications, smart contracts, and a more equitable internet, is reshaping industries globally. Israel, known as Startup Nation, has always been at the forefront of technological innovation. Our tech ecosystem has produced groundbreaking solutions in cybersecurity, AI, fintech, and more. Now, we are witnessing a new wave of innovation in Web3, where Israeli startups are pioneering in areas like blockchain infrastructure, decentralized finance, and NFTs. Dubai, on the other hand, is rapidly becoming a global hub for Web3 and blockchain technologies. The city's forward-thinking regulations, strategic investments, and vibrant business environment make it an ideal place for Web3 innovation. This is where the synergy between Israel and Dubai can truly shine. One of the most exciting developments in this space is the launch of Solana's Founders Villa in Dubai. This initiative is much more than just a co-working space. It is a vibrant ecosystem designed to support the growth of Web3 startups. The Founders Villa can provide Israeli entrepreneurs with unparalleled access to Dubai's dynamic Web3 community. It can offer a platform where Israeli startups can meet investors, find partners, and engage with end users who are eager to adopt cutting-edge solutions. The Founders Villa and Solana's activities in MENA region are led by Alex Scott, a good friend of ours at the Consulate General and one of the top figures in the region's Web3 scene. Alex, thank you for putting this webinar together with us today. We're committed to fostering these connections and ensuring that Israeli startups have the support they need to thrive in Dubai. We are here to assist you in navigating this vibrant market, connecting you with the key stakeholders, and helping you unlock the full potential of your innovation. In closing, I want to express my gratitude to Startup Nation Central, and especially Nave Shachar, a fabulous friend of ours, for organizing this webinar, and to all your participants for your interest and enthusiasm. I also want to thank our friend and today's panelist, Oliver von Wolff. Oliver is the managing director of Helion Capital and one of the top people in Dubai's fintech and digital assets team. He's been in Dubai for 25 years and played a critical role in establishing the Emirate as a world leader in Web3. So all of you are in good company. We need to get to know each other more, I think, after this webinar. The future of Web3 is bright, and by working together, Israel and Dubai can lead the way in shaping this new digital frontier. For the Israeli crowd, I want to say, תודה שהצטרפתם. דובאי יכולה להציב עבורכם חלופה נוספת ושוק נוסף, לא רק פה, גם חלון למפרץ ולמזרח. אנחנו פה בקונסוליה כדי לעזור, כדי לייעץ ולפתוח עבורכם כל דלת אפשרי. אז בבקשה, באמת, אל תהססו לפנות אלינו. Good luck everyone and enjoy the event.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Perfect. Now for the real deal. I would like to invite our panelists to introduce themselves and share a little bit about their mission and organization. We'll start with you, Mor. Please.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us. My name is Mor Assia. I'm founding partner of iAngels. So iAngels, for those who are less familiar, is a VC and fund based out of Israel. We are operating since 2013 and really are the gateway for many international investors to invest in the asset class that's called Israeli early stage startups, technology startups. So it's I founded the company together with Shelly Hodmoyal, my partner, and over the years we've invested in over 100 startups in Israel. In 2017, however, we actually found that there was increased appetite and interest from our LP community that today is thousands of people from 60 different countries in the world to engage and further educate themselves and get more involved in the digital asset class. And these were all people who are very familiar with investing, however, less familiar with investing in digital assets. So they couldn't really exactly, buy crypto, engage and get into the white lists of ICOs that were very much, hyped at the time. And then again, of course, how do they manage their assets or their tokens after the fact? So we created a dedicated fund that specializes in digital assets in 2017. And it's actually structured as a hedge fund, which means that people can all the time buy into the fund and engage with us. So it's a very innovative approach, and we took it upon ourselves to really include all the most significant trends and themes in crypto over the years, with a very kind of same mindset of that VC mindset that we bring to the table, where we are able to assess and evaluate projects and companies and teams to make sure that we have really a mix of inside the portfolio of what the way that we think a proper portfolio should really look like for an investor, professional investor that's looking to engage with digital assets. I have to say that since then we've been through different cycles of innovations, whether it be ICOs, NFTs, as mentioned previously, Israel getting more and more involved in building blockchains and building layer 2s and building applications. And so we've invested to date in over 100 projects in crypto. The digital assets fund manages several of dozens of millions of dollars today, and its returned performance stands on 140% since inception. So it's quite a successful fund, and we strive to really be a collaborator, a partner for innovators, for startup entrepreneurs that are looking to further engage and innovate in this space. And I think another something that maybe sets us apart is the fact that we do invest in more kind of like traditional VC companies and get involved in the equity side. We have built quite a significant rapport and footprint with fintechs that are collaborating with digital assets and crypto entrepreneurs. And have also invested in companies that don't necessarily, build a token, but rather the supporting ecosystem innovation that pushes forward this industry, such as Ledger, for example, or eToro, or some of these other companies that are really strong and significant companies in the eco space. I think that's it. Very happy to be here. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to a great discussion.
Thank you. Oliver, over to you.
Yes, hi everyone. Yeah, my name is Oliver, originally from Germany. Most likely now 25 years here in the MENA region. Original investment banker and in the part of real estate, quite successful. I was one of the first one who created or built a tower in TCOM 2004 or 5 was it. And then 2019, my journey started for blockchain and crypto. Yeah, we've been a number 3 in Europe, issuing a full regulated Bitcoin ETN to the German stock market. With a company used to be, I've been a shareholder and CFO. We try to do then a dual listing in Dubai. Unfortunately, it failed because the difference between an ETF and ETN was too big at this time. One is an equity, like an equity product. The other one is a debt product. So debt products are in Europe usual, in the UAE not so much. So I sold the shares, and then I got managing director for CV Labs from Switzerland here for the MENA region, and the same way also like managing director for the DMCC Crypto Center. So I incubated with the team, I don't know, approximately 1,000 blockchain crypto companies. So we are kind of a grandfather of the ecosystem here in Dubai, or as people saying about me. And still until this, I have a good contact to mostly a lot of them, of a lot of startups, a lot of founders. So I try to keep the contact in this area. So I also was co-founder of Crypto Oasis. So I sold everything like 2 years ago, and then principal Helion journey started. Today we have 2 verticals. One vertical is we have regulated products in Luxembourg. Yeah, we're trying to build bridge products between traditional investments and DeFi, crypto, blockchain, yeah, Web3. And on the other side, it's kind of family office where we're investing directly in projects, doing advisory, partly M&A, fundraising, service agreements. So we are invested in fintech, DeFi, yeah. We are invested in health tech, different other industries as well. And I'm very looking forward to this conversation today to give our audience the chance maybe to ask questions or to explain a bit about what does it mean, the Dubai ecosystem or the ecosystem in the UAE. I just been yesterday to Ras Al Khaimah. I was there in the Hive. Yeah, that's a kind of also like building blockchain, Web3, crypto ecosystem for Ras Al Khaimah. This was also very interesting having the conversation there with the management. Yeah, so I have a quite good overview about what's going on in different free zones and the different restrictions, also from a regulatory point of view. But I'm not a lawyer, but Prince will have a good overview. Yeah, and I'm very happy to participate today.
Thank you so much. Alex?
Hello, nice to meet you all. I see 20 people, which is super exciting. I wish there was more interaction. I could see the faces here, but I'm going to assume that there's all super bright, engaged, brilliant people on the other end of this call. Thank you so much for the Consul General of Israel in Dubai, great partner for us, and Startup Nation Central for putting this together. Super excited to be here. About me, I'm from Canada originally, which is why I sound like an American, but quickly moved to the UK, spent a big part of my career there in management consulting before going back to business school, then spent the bulk of my career at Amazon leading product and engineering teams across Europe, and then went into crypto because it's all I could think about. I'm sure a lot of you had the similar experience, and then so launched my own on-ramping startup here in Dubai, left that right around the whole FTX collapse. And then went to work for Ledger, the hardware wallet company based in France. Was working with them remotely as a product engineer, a product management lead. And then about a year ago, went into the Solana ecosystem. So started here in Dubai, leading ecosystem development of like a mix of events, hackathons, coaching, mentoring. Basically, like my goal here is like I look like a hero if I can find the next billion-dollar company that's building using Solana blockchain. So I can do that through a bunch of different ways. Things like the villa, which Leon mentioned, which is essentially like clearing the path to entering the UAE and taking advantage of all the infrastructure and networking opportunities that we have here. I also have access to grants, fundraising, introductions to VCs and capital to help you on your journey. So don't hesitate to reach out to me outside of this. I'm AF Scott on Twitter. You'll find me on LinkedIn as well. Anything related to Solana, just don't hesitate to ping me, please.
Great. Thank you so much. So we'll stay with you, Alex. And I wanted to ask you, you've recently visited Israel. And I wanted to ask you, how did you find the ecosystem? What kind of opportunities were revealed to you through that visit? What kind of synergies do you see and want to express for Israeli entrepreneur, the opportunities and the ways they need to engage with the ecosystem in the region?
Yeah, I think like the biggest thing I took away is it's a bit of a cliche, this startup nation. The books have literally been written about this, but I saw it firsthand talking to the entrepreneurs that I met there. These are people that not just have like deep technical experience because of multiple cycles of companies being built and exited, and also like the education and institutions like parts of the Israeli military producing very strong like technical talent, but also real leadership. So people that are literally battle tested, that have formed like very tight, cohesive units, and then rotate in and out of service for their country and into the private sector. I think the per capita density of like people that can just really just build impressive things and scale and have the grit and determination to get through that is unlike any other country that I've been to. So for me, when I think about my mission, okay, I want to identify that next billion-dollar company in Web3. It's like a very obvious pipeline that probably one of those teams at least is sitting in Tel Aviv right now, or possibly on this call, and I want to just help them. I think in the UAE we have a lot of things that complement the ecosystem in Israel. So say maybe more risk on regulation, more welcoming government policies in some ways, and then like a very global dynamic ecosystem of service providers and lawyers and capital that can use in the right way with thoughtful bridging can really make a good combination.
Yeah, I would like to add here something. What I've seen in the Israel ecosystem is that they have a lot of deep tech companies, but in my point of view, I don't think I would find a 1 billion company in Israel because the ecosystem is not built for this. The ecosystem is principally built to support and to add a kind of a value to big corporates, but the ecosystem is not built really to make a startup and then to go to the fully economic chain until IPO or something like this. So principally what we have, in my opinion, in Israel is deep tech, which is at the moment functional, built up to be service provider for big corporates. Yeah, and here I think the ecosystem in Dubai can be helping, let's say, Series A companies which are implemented in the market, which have proof of concept of a product, which are maybe have a good management team, founder team with experience, all these kind of things to leverage this. Yeah, to open the view for Israeli companies, not only to the US and Europe. No, I mean, the world market is much bigger. Yeah. So not only be a small chain in an economy value, just providing an app or service solution for like a big corporate. No, bringing a real product on the market, developing the product, and then spreading out to Southeast Asia, to MENA region, and so just to let it grow and to really build a corporate. not only a startup and selling startup. Yeah, I completely agree with Alex. We have seen very high, very knowledgeable, very good human capital with great ideas and visions. But none of this was like what we see here. I want to build up a $1 billion US dollar company. I want to do an IPO. I want to go to the stock exchange in New York or Singapore or Hong Kong. No, it was always so, I build something and then I sell it. I build something and I sell it. So that's the reason why you have this quick turnovers, and a lot of entrepreneurs who are very young and they have already like 2-3 successful exits behind each other, but they never have been really built something, a big corporate or a bigger company, and going to the next stage. And here I think the ecosystem in Dubai can precisely help such kind of companies to leverage their value, yeah, and to spread out to additional markets and customer segments.
I'll in a minute direct it to you also more, and also relate to exactly what Oliver was saying. But I just want to say that when as Startup Nation Central, we found ourselves a lot of the time in between understanding and scanning the opportunities, and we definitely saw that we did saw in the last 5-7 years the ecosystem is much mature to grow and build more mature companies. But definitely there is like a shift of understanding how to approach different markets. And I want to ask you, since the Abraham Accords more, you had obviously the opportunity to explore the opportunities and see where does it take your organization. From your perspective, how do you see the challenges and the things that you saw on the way that are optional for collaborating on that scale?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there's quite a lot that can be done. I want to take maybe a step back and also kind of like from my perspective here in Israel, for people who don't know, but the crypto ecosystem or the entrepreneurial landscape, it started here relatively early. Remember, even in 2012, it was like, crypto was like a bad word. You couldn't even say it. And there were like many meetups and many collaborations that were being done, many discussions. I want to say in dark rooms, legit, like people who were innovating around crypto had to kind of frame it in a different way to make it sound like fintech or whatever, so that they could even raise capital. So it was a very, very challenging landscape. And since then, as you said, the ecosystem really blossomed and grew, and there are a lot of like significant talent and that was drawn to this technology. I don't know if everyone even knows, but for example, Vitalik, when he was thinking about the idea of starting Ethereum, he was here in Israel. He was working on a project called Colored Coins as part of an eToro mission to kind of leverage their knowledge and expertise to create more enablement. So a lot was really founded and originated here in Israel. So I agree completely that it's a very, very unique pool of talent and people who have the ability to think differently and outside the box. And we've seen it across the board in each and every cycle. I want to also say that, people might not think about it, but Israel is relatively close to the Ukraine, where there's also a lot of entrepreneurship and I want to say engineers who are working in collaboration with Israeli founders, and also with Portugal, which over the years has become also quite the hub. And in recent years, we're experiencing it more and more with the Mediterranean region, or more specifically with the Emirates. And we've seen a lot of funds actually navigate and move to the Emirates because of the more, I want to say, open and forthcoming regulatory environment. We see companies that are seeking exactly that infrastructure, or the ability to hire engineers on the ground in the Emirates and enjoy some of the benefits, some of the grants and infrastructure that ecosystem can create for them, including funding and everything else that was said. And we see more and more companies try to kind of penetrate that market. Even again, last November, eToro was licensed all over the world, was officially licensed also in the Emirates, and has kicked off an even more robust operation there. They've been there for the last 3 years, but this was kind of like a very significant announcement. And we see that region try to attract not only that talent, but also operations, and also potentially be really first in listing some of these companies that otherwise would have sought official listing only in the US. So on one hand, looking to the East has not been always very intuitive or trivial for Israeli entrepreneurs, because as previously mentioned, Israel is such a small market. So you innovate here for other markets. And traditionally, it's always been the US. But specifically in crypto and in digital assets, that has been a very, very difficult region to penetrate, requires huge amounts of capital to really start an operation there and create a fellowship there. And for many companies that are innovating in the space, it's been easier to do that in Europe or go east to the Emirates or to Asia. And that has been kind of in this specific asset class a more, I want to say, a softer landing or an easier way to operate and gain some fellowship and like global fellowship in the rest of the world, even before they're going into the Americas. So I think there's huge room for collaboration and less education, perhaps. This is something that we really need to work on how young entrepreneurs can have an easier, discussions with thought leaders and key stakeholders in Asia, so that they can, feel more comfortable going that way. But I think that there's huge room for collaboration, and there's thirst also in light of the few years that we've been through, those bear markets. Now there's like an awakening. There's so much innovation in other technologies that are coming in, such as artificial intelligence and virtual reality that together with blockchain can enable much more practices and much more innovation. And so there are a lot of things that are happening that I think make now, in terms of timing and climate, really the optimal setting for kind of like the next push or the next wave of innovation. So yeah, I think this is definitely, as we look into the next year, into 2025, I think there's going to be even more activity. We personally, even this year, we've seen so many projects. So we're very excited to see what then the next year is gonna create for us as an ecosystem in Israel, and how we can create stronger bridges and alliances with the Emirates in order to do so.
Thank you. Oliver, over to you. For the purpose of an Israeli entrepreneur that wants to, for his purposes, start to engaging seriously with the UAE. You have more than 25 years experience in the UAE, also as a venture builder, but also as an investor. What are the things that you saw that like sort of like guidelines on how to approach the market, how to do it well?
Oh, it's a wide question.
The wide one. Maybe I'll focus it a little bit and
yes,
just from your approach on technologies that are core technologies and how they are introduced to the different players in the Middle East, and how they approach it in terms of regulation and etc.
Okay, let me try to answer this. So I would think that the world is in a kind of transmission at the moment, and the winner of this transmission so far, I would say, is GCC, Middle East, because more or less, of course, we have local conflicts, but the local conflicts are not spreading so much at the moment, at least. So Dubai, the Emirates, they got a kind of safe harbor for many people over the since COVID, So, and also we have a change in a macroeconomic point of view, if we see how Europe and the US are doing. So I think it's for Israel necessary to look for new opportunities and new fields to get engaged. And here, the ecosystem in UAE, especially in Dubai, is an outside-in ecosystem. Yeah, so it means if you come to Dubai, entrepreneurs coming to Dubai, technologies coming to Dubai. Why they're coming to Dubai? First of all, it's a safe harbor for everyone. It's let's say the principle: no one matters which nationality you have or which religion you have. You come to Dubai, you're following the rules, yeah, and then you are welcoming. So beside of this, Dubai has been built up grandiose, huge infrastructure. Yeah, you find a lot of human capital meanwhile in Dubai because of all of the conflicts, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of visionary people, a lot of very educated and professional people. They settled to Dubai. Yeah. So, and of course you find capital as well. So all the three main elements of building up an ecosystem are fulfilled here in the UAE. And on top of it, it's quite safe to be here in Dubai. Yeah, and all this together creates a very positive environment, especially for entrepreneurs to execute their visions. So coming back to your question is, if we talk about Dubai and Platform Dubai, let's name it Platform Dubai maybe. Yeah, and I just want to really focus on Dubai, not on Abu Dhabi or Ras Al Khaimah or other spots which are in the process of developing or like a competitor. Dubai gives this exposure to with the different free zones to set up a local legal entity and to be active from here. I wouldn't, at the moment at least, I don't see Dubai so much as a place of producing and production. It's more like digital identities. It's more like the value chain for companies is open an office here and spreading out to the world. On top of this, what we see at the moment from the UAE, it's a very close partnership going on to Southeast Asia, China, to all of this used to be emergency markets. Today to the engine markets, let's say, of the world, where really things going on and where really not only millionaires get produced every day, also like new technologies get adapted every day. Yeah, and I think this is the big difference if we look to the Western world compared to looking to the Eastern world. Yeah, all this deep technology, what in Israel might be produced and developed and all this kind of things, of course, used to be the main buyer when maybe US markets or European markets. But also we see here, if I look to Europe, how many companies, entrepreneurs has been left Europe and going to Southeast Asia, because Southeast Asia is already the biggest buyer of their products. So it means also the production, all this in all the IPRs and all this kind of values, they're already moving. Yeah. So, and then of course, Saudi Arabia with Emirates as, let's say, part of the BRIC states, yeah, coming on top, that they're principally a part of this new global ecosystem which gets created. Yeah, and I think to have a footprint here inside is for companies who especially developing deep tech technologies. Yeah, it's just a must. You cannot miss this opportunity because otherwise you miss the new customers for your future products. Yeah, and that's the reason why I think that Dubai, with this special ecosystem which has been built and grows here over the last, let's say, 5 to 10 years, is a perfect surrounding of establishing a company, moving to Dubai, yeah, and going from Dubai then to, yeah, as I said before, developing and grow your business to other regions in the world.
Thank you. Alex, so I want to talk a little bit about Solana and from your perspective these days, what do you foresee in the Middle East in terms of challenges and opportunities. More specifically about more in infrastructure and in regulations. If you can mention a little bit about the situation of regulation in the UAE and its uniqueness and what is happening in Saudi Arabia, for example, and what you foresee for the future.
Yeah, for sure. I've been pretty focused on UAE so far. I can give you a little bit of the insights here. I'm keeping a very close eye on Saudi. Very quickly, Saudi Arabia is still super early. They're very conservative. They have a population of, close to 40 million people that they rightfully are trying to protect, right? They saw the fallout of the FTX collapse and a lot of the activity that happened there as a risk, as a negative. So I would say they are very cautious when it comes to allowing anything related to, say, cryptocurrency and trading. Now, the specific like nuance there, though, is that they consider blockchain technology as like a separate concept. So enterprise applications that utilize blockchain technology, good. The moment you say tokens and trading, bad. So if you're considering anything in that country, just understand the nuance, focus on the B2B side, and then just be aware that both the Capital Markets Authority and Central Bank have not actually given any clear guidance on digital assets. UAE has different challenges. I'd say they're at two sort of conflicting levels, though, where you have crypto-friendly free zones like DMCC, DIFC, Rakdao, all pitching for founders to come and start businesses. And then you have a central bank, which is a little bit more conservative and recently released, I think in June 14th or 8th, gave essentially a ban on, say, like unrecognized or unregistered stablecoins. And which also had the implication that as a business, you could not accept any form of token as payment for your services unless it's registered with the central bank. So there's like a tension there between different layers of government. So it is a little bit, still early. I would say directionally going in the right way. But there's still these little like inconsistencies and friction between different government bodies that can be navigated for sure. Myself, I do a lot of international like payment in cryptocurrency and fiat, and I do have legal counsel that can help me navigate that. But you just have to be aware that it's often shifting pieces, and there's just a little bit of nuance beyond like what the pitch deck or the advertising of Dubai Inc. Will lead you to believe.
Thank you. So we were mentioning before the founders villa. If you can give us a little bit more about what is this opportunity? Why are you doing that? What is important in the field of Web3 and crypto to create this community, basically?
Yeah. So it's I've rented 6 villas. So each villa has space for about I think like we've got six rooms, and they're all connected by this beautiful garden right in the middle of Dubai, like 5 minutes away from the Mall of the Emirates. So my pitch to everyone is you get to come work with some of the best founders from all over the world. We have people from US, Canada, India, Japan, all coming co-living, co-working. And then on my side, I've spent the last 2 years building up my network in the UAE. So I've figured out who's legit, who's not. And I just line up like during the week, it's all workshops. So you hear from the free zones, you hear from the regulator, you hear from the best lawyers that I use for all of my most sensitive issues. To give you that insight, essentially like cut all the noise and the middlemen and the people that are just like there to, with say like bad intent, and we take just VIP treatment straight directly to the source, to the highly credible people that operate in this ecosystem. Also doing demo days. We have movie nights, things like to give people like a place to unwind and relax, because we know it's not just about sitting and studying and like learning, crafting your pitch deck. It's also a lot of deals, partnerships are forged in events, over food, over yacht parties on the weekend. So it's really like a full-on experience for you to just understand, learn what is happening in the UAE. I think we like obviously there's like the overall theme for this is that we are encouraging people to build on Solana. So we do have a preference for people that are already using the technology, but I consider applications from strong founders that are maybe in EVM or Cosmos or other ecosystems that are also curious about how to use Solana technology. And we use this as a way for people to understand like the value of that, the global network and the community that we build. So yeah, villa.superteam.fun is the URL. That's the last time I'm going to shill this one. I don't want to make it too much of an advertisement.
Sounds great. All right, thank you. More, I wanted to ask you, have extensive experience as an investor, specifically in that field. A lot of very interesting companies. What we have entrepreneurs in the audience. When reaching and planning and in the middle of the journey, what is your advice on the journey in the space, particularly in terms of building ventures and scale?
Yeah. Well, I think being an entrepreneur in general, not only in this specific space, is challenging, and the market is moving very, very fast. I mean, I can't even share how many founders we've seen with a great idea that came to consult or advise, and it just took them a really, really long time to get off the ground, and then by the time they didn't even notice that the target was moving, and their project was not so much relevant anymore. But coming again to any investor, and of course, and I want to say, I don't know if you guys feel it the same, but money used to be cheaper, quote unquote, maybe years ago, and it's harder today. Back in the day, anything you would do would probably be innovative and would be just, and today it really requires a lot more. I want to say market education, market research. You need to analyze all the trends. If it's B2B, as Alex said, then really understand and work with a design partner and understand the needs and how can you create value for them, and what's their participation or willingness to pay for that value. How can you understand where the markets are also going? I think if we were looking at people who are trying to think where this market will be by 2024, 2025, it's completely different than where it is today. And so all of these kind of considerations and research needs to come into play. You definitely need to leverage and work the network. It's no longer only about having strong technology. You have to show that you have built a community. And I think in this specific asset class, it's really a must to have a fellowship, to have thought leadership, to have content, to have a very active community. And it needs to be across different platforms, not only on your own. You need to showcase how you can be really agile and lean and learn from experience, but also be able to move or change directions very, very quickly, leverage the capital and the resources that you have to make sure that you're always in the right direction and not be kind of intimidated or scared to change directions if need be. Because I think these are this is for any founder, but specifically in a world that's fast changing and fast paced, even from a regulatory perspective, it's critical. Always seek feedback and again, kind of challenge yourself. Ask questions and not be kind of prone to groupthink, or to just think that you fall in love with your solution and just think that that's probably the best way to go. I think that personally, even if we don't end up investing, we always provide feedback. We always say what we think. We always say if we even sought advice from other people from our network, what was the feedback, so that entrepreneurs that sit with us always have kind of food for thought and the ability to engage again if they've decided to make a change or to implement that feedback. As many people you can possibly meet and provide you with feedback is probably the best way to go. Always think about integrity and ethics. This has been a challenging environment where, as previously mentioned, the technology is there. I have no doubt in my mind. I have 5 children. I have no doubt in my mind that when they are, professionals, they can work anywhere, they can be paid by any token, and that would be a problem that will be solved by the future. And the technology has already proven itself time and again as invaluable to the world that we're living in. Just makes things so much faster, so much more efficient, and unlocks a lot of capabilities. But how can you make sure that you're not being regarded as someone who can be that sour apple? There have been so many cases and so many things, and so much money and resources lost just based on people who lack those values. And it's our role as investors and as entrepreneurs in this particular space to make sure that this becomes synonymous with those values and things that companies want to engage in, corporates want to engage in, governments want to engage with. So this is I think is very critical, because it's always been kind of like the criticism that we've faced as an ecosystem. I want to say so I think these are kind of like the highlights for young founders who are working and navigating the space, apart, of course, from the technology itself. Learn about what you're doing, what you're innovating. There are many instances where we see people and they're like, no, we're the only ones who are doing this, and like they have no idea. So it really kind of all falls down into those key factors that I mentioned, of like seeking feedback, conducting your research, expanding the network, collaborating with other teams and other global teams. And yeah, if it's for Solana, for example, find a way you can innovate there, find a way you can be a partner, and then you can engage, and you will have that backing and that support, and that exists across the board in different ways. But I think it's a good way of kind of starting off that journey and looking for someone who could actually use what you're trying to develop. Of course, as I mentioned, there are a lot of more capabilities that allows teams to develop faster and reach scale much faster. So leverage those technologies and make sure that you're doing it in a way that's very scalable and is built for growth from a corporate perspective and corporate governance perspective, but also from a technology perspective. So I think
Thank you.
Those are a few.
Before I'll direct my last question to you, Oliver, I want to invite the people that are watching this to, if you want to text, we will give a few minutes in the end to ask questions, either specifically to one of the panelists or a general question. So please feel free to write questions if you would like. Oliver, I want to ask you, how do you see the investment landscape in the UAE in technology, specifically in crypto and Web3, and what we should be aware of when we are approaching that in the UAE?
Yeah, as I tried to said before, it's the Dubai ecosystem is very much an ecosystem outside in. So it always have different kind of, let's say, headlines. Yeah, first we had like crypto, then we had, I don't know, MetaMask, NFT. There are always headlines principally coming up, and people, let's say, running a bit behind it. So at the moment it might be AI, yeah, everything what has to do with AI. So it's always a bit like, let's say, how ecosystem works. But what I see here, it's the Dubai ecosystem got much more sustainable. Yeah. And if you, as Scott's Alex said, is if you're long enough here and you have really the right triangles and the people to get in, and you can keep aside all the crowd and all the, let's say, I don't want to say bad people, but also not people with bad intention, but let's put it like consultants or whoever, yeah. And you really come then to the basic of Dubai, then you find out that the ecosystem here are very sustainable. You find a lot of serious people who you really can build something, who are interested of building successful companies. Yeah, and also the Dubai, as I know it, was never been, let's say, a jealous market. Yeah, when you come to Dubai, principle to the right people, everyone is keen to help you and to support you without asking anything. Yeah, and that's the reason why I just would say, if you come to Dubai, take your time, meet a lot of people, really to select it, and to just come to the right channels. Yeah, and then you can be really successful here in all different kind of industries. It doesn't matter if it's Web3, fintech, health tech. It doesn't matter if it's crypto, blockchain, or whatever. As soon as you have the right channel and the right people around you, then you will figure out, okay, it's really a good market. And also Dubai is a kind of Dubai has cycles. Yeah, so it's like the Dubai cycle is like, okay, the ecosystem is very busy. Let's say now October, November. Yeah, and then principle from February to maybe April. You have all the events here, all this, let's say, fancy parties and everything. Yeah. So, but beside, you have a lot of people who are living here permanently. Yeah, and gives really a nice value also to the ecosystem here in Dubai. And now, especially on top, over the last, let's say, 1 to 2 years, you see that, I don't know, Saudi wants to pick up a bit with technologies, then you have Bahrain, Qatar. So it's more like a regional development, what you in it. And of course, still Dubai, I would say, is in the middle. Yeah. And everything else is coming now step by step. So I think it's a great place to be. It's a great place to build a business. Yeah. But my recommendation would really, if someone comes to Dubai, and I'm telling this everyone, do not listen to one person, go around, make your own opinion, don't rush, take your time for your own analyses, yeah, get the right people, yeah, and then you can be very successful.
You can just briefly, because we mentioned a lot Dubai, and you can give us a very short overview about the different advantages and disadvantages and different, first of all, in sense of the different Emirates. We have Abu Dhabi with ADGM. You mentioned Ras Al Khaimah. What are the different sweet spots that you can share with us about the financial hubs in that sense, in those locations?
I can make a
and
short
more
break.
specifically, maybe on the free zones.
Yes.
Same.
So principle, you have two financial free zones, is the DIFC and the ADGM. Every one of these two free zones, they are like have a financial focus, but they have different regulations. Yeah, ADGM, people saying it's a bit more crypto friendly. The DIFC is a bit more, let's say, maybe traditional wise. Yeah, so everyone has advantages and disadvantages. And if someone comes here, of course, you have to figure out what kind of free zone fits to him on the best way. Principle, of course, the most of the money is sitting in Abu Dhabi. Yeah, but it doesn't mean these are low-hanging fruits. Yeah, Dubai's ecosystem is, as I said, an outside-in ecosystem. Yeah, so it means it's a bit more international. You have a bit more this, how to say, the colorful people. Let's put it on this way. Yeah, you have a bit more partying. Abu Dhabi is maybe a bit more conservative. It's maybe better for families. Yeah. What I see a bit negative over the last, let's say, 2 years in Dubai is, and I see this also by my employees, which I have, is just even they get a good salary, it's difficult to get an apartment and to get settled in Dubai because everything got so expensive. So that's might be a bit a critical part, let's say, especially for not people who come in with an expat contract to Dubai, but people who think they can challenge the ecosystem and having a better life here. So for these people, it's getting a bit more maybe difficult. And Ras Al Khaimah, I see they're developing very positive because Ras Al Khaimah had already a very diversified economy. So also during COVID, for example, beside the tourism industry, they were still very stable because if you're coming to produce something, yeah, I would suggest go to Ras Al Khaimah. Yeah, short ways, direct authorities and everything. Yeah, so what I want to say is it's difficult to say this is an advantage and disadvantage. But what I can say definitely, if you come to the UAE, you will find an ecosystem or you will find a free zone or area which fits to your purpose. Yeah, if you produce technology, if you have a great vision, if you are fintech or whatever, there's definitely a fit for you in the UAE. But to figure out, let's say, which ecosystem or which restriction fits best to you, this is a process. What I said at the beginning, take your time, have a look. Yeah, don't listen so much what other people are telling you. Go around and make your own picture about it. Yeah, and then make your own decision. So this would be my recommendation.
Thank you so much. Before we will keep the next few minutes for people if they still want to ask question. Meanwhile, Mo, Alex, Liron, Oliver, last message or whatever you want to say for the end of the webinar. If you still want to share something, I'll start with you, Alex.
I just saw there was a Q&A question from G Chen. I don't know if we answered that one. So like thinking about competition between hubs.
All right. Now I see it. Yeah. So
yeah, I think I can just take a stab at this one. I think often it's going to depend on.
Repeat the question. I don't know if everyone is able to see it. If people are not like people are only.
Oh, sure. It says, what do you think about the race in Web3 between regional hubs like Dubai and Singapore? What are their competitive edges, for instance, or differences, similarities in strategic direction or policies? Yeah, it's a good question. I think often depends on the company, right? So like regulated, unregulated is like a big division, and then even within regulated, like payments, exchanges, there's a lot of nuance there. I think what I've seen, like a big cluster in Dubai is regulated, especially on the exchanges and serving institutional clients with digital assets. It does appear that there's like definitely like a center of gravity here that makes a lot of sense. And then if you have any ambition like to expand within the GCC, like Dubai is just like a very obvious place. Also, if you're serving both Europe and Asia, it's like just geographically very advantageous to be here.
Thank you. And any
I think in general we see like a race globally. Also, I think the fact that it's also in the US that the SEC said that Ethereum is not will be considered a security. I think it's a good sentiment. The fact that Trump said that any crypto that the government is holding, they're looking at as strategic assets. I think it's also good. Naturally, what you said, Alex, about the regions in Asia. So I think it's a very positive sentiment overall. I think, again, if we are, as a community, as an ecosystem, are able to kind of uphold that requirement of corporate governance, ethics, etc. I think this is going to be a very interesting year, or a very interesting couple of years from that perspective, that will enable much more activities to flourish in these different regions. So I think it's all going to be, everyone is kind of in the race. Everybody wants to kind of keep that entrepreneurial talent pool close and innovative and create value. So I think it's a completely global trend, and it's all going to be about where would it make the most sense for founders to actually go and have the best infrastructure and the best room to operate. But I think in general, it's a very, very positive thing. When I read about these things, I'm very, very happy about the way these things are going, because it's been a kind of a long battle, and finally we're seeing some participation and some kind of positive sentiment from the regions that are most significant in taking this ecosystem forward.
Thank you, Oliver.
Yeah, I mean, most things are already said. I just would say the best thing is really to explore the ecosystem, coming to Dubai and having a look, yeah, and also exploring the other ecosystems. I think what Alex said with this Villa project is very good, but there are other also, like let's say labs, which is very, just go talk people are open-minded here. Yeah, make your own opinion. And as I think, especially for Israeli deep tech companies, I think Dubai, it can be a really great platform, yeah, to build their business and to go international, let's say, or to go in other direction. Yes. So I think it's a great opportunity. We live in a great time, which gives entrepreneurs and startups the opportunity to break a bit the rules, let's say, and to do things different. Yeah, and I just think Dubai is a good place for this, to realize and to execute your vision and your ideas.
Thank you so much. Alex?
I mean, look, I just last word for me. Thank you all so much for spending the time with us and listening to us talk about this. A couple of people have already found me on LinkedIn, Alex Scott. I'd love to continue the conversation. So DM me, whatever you want to ask. I'm happy to help and follow up afterwards.
That's a great outcome. Thank you. Liron, last words?
Yeah, well, as the only diplomat in the room and probably the one person that doesn't really understand the technology, I think that for us as the government side and the state, and as far as I understand, blockchain is to get the mediators out of the picture and do things directly. And I think this is exactly what we try to do here in this webinar, to bring Dubai side and Israel side. And then all you need to do is, first of all, talk to each other. And then if you need any assistance, we're here for you to do that. So thanks again for everyone, and thanks for having us here.
Thank you so much. I want to thank you all for joining us and taking the time. Oliver, Alex, Mo, Liron. Thank you again to Tzvi and Dana that were helping to organize this. Our team in SNC for facilitating everything, and for you guys that attended the webinar, people that attended, thank you so much, and have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, everyone, and
Stay
thank you very
safe.
much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank